Tonight, all 6 candidates running for mayor of Charleston took the stage in a public forum. It took place on College of Charleston's campus and gave community members a chance to get to know the different candidates and their platforms. Our Claire Weber was at tonight's event and joins us now with how everything went. Claire?
Tessa, tonight's forum was the first time we heard from all 6 candidates in one room. Some of tonight's questions were directed to all, while others were personalized for each individual. Tonight's Charleston Mayoral Forum was divided into important public policy issues. Quality of life and housing became a major talking point.
Regardless of where you live, everyone deserves a decent, safe place to call home. And in the city of Charleston, we have not planned for life after gentrification.
And affordability was brought up more than once.
We need a regional housing authority. This is affordable housing, and affordability is not a Charleston alone issue. It is a tri-county, a regional problem.
Mika Gadsden spoke on the topic as the only candidate who is a renter in the area.
My interests would be similar to anyone who owns a home or property in Charleston. We probably want the same things, and I would venture to believe that many people listening to us tonight want to be able to at least see themselves in their ideal home space.
And Peter Shade spoke for the suburbs outside of downtown.
So I helped create the West Ashley Revitalization Commission. When I ran back in 2015 for City Council, my theme was that West Ashley has been neglected and ignored.
Deborah Gammons was asked about the issue of development in a city with so much history.
As far as the preservation ordinances, they are not outdated. What's necessary is that we take a look at these areas where there needs to be some work.
And current Mayor John Tecklenburg defended the work that's been done while he's been in office.
We came up with a very, I think, thoughtful plan engaging the Riley Center at the College of Charleston. Thank you again to the College of Charleston, to look at every aspect of a potential future development so that it's in sync with the city of Charleston.
Election day for the Charleston mayoral race is November 7th, and the last day to register to vote is October 8th.
Last week, we told you about the issue of liquor liability insurance after those rates skyrocketed this year, prompting complaints from venues all over the Lowcountry that sell alcohol. Those rates caused the Isle of Palms VFW to shut down temporarily to figure out how to adjust to the high cost. Some Lowcountry lawmakers currently working on legislation to help ease the pain. Our Web Right joins us to give us an update and to let us know if help is on the way for venue owners. Web?
Well, the good news is the Isle of Palms VFW is back open for business, according to their Facebook page, after receiving a more affordable liquor liability policy. The Post reopened last Wednesday, and the message from Commander Bo Stallings says he'd like to see a special category created for nonprofit organizations like VFWs and American Legions. And he's not alone. The American Legion Post on James Island was recently forced to raise prices across the board to deal with the rising cost of insurance. But help may be on the way. Berkeley County State Representative Jordan Pace is the co-sponsor of the Save Our Venues bill, which would limit liability. As it stands now, he says the law is just too broad.
If you went to 5 different restaurants throughout the day, you had water at some, alcohol at others, and then you could go home afterward, drink your own alcohol, and then go get into an accident. Everybody involved in that, whether they served you water, alcohol, chips, whatever, if you drank something there, could be sued equally as everybody else.
Now, Pace says the bill is currently still in committee, and they are expected to pick up the issue when they return to session on January 9th. He says they will also look into the feasibility of creating a separate category for nonprofits like VFWs and Legion Halls. Coming up tonight, we'll explain why getting exemptions for nonprofits may not be that easy and why the liquor issue is part of a larger liability problem that goes beyond just alcohol.
Meanwhile, back here in Charleston, an up-close look at unsanitary living conditions. News 4 got a first-hand look into some of the units at Gadsden Green housing complex. We reported last week about complaints of numerous problems. And tonight, units infested with rats and mold were shown to us during a walkthrough organized by State Representative Wendell Gilliard and others. Our Claire Weber joins us now with more on what she saw and heard. Claire?
Tessa, I was able to walk through 2 units at Gadsden Green homes tonight and speak with the people who live there. They showed us the issues they say they've been complaining about for months, sometimes even years.
Just a safe home and them to hear us out, basically, so that my babies can come back home.
Keisha Schuler says her kids don't live at home with her anymore because of the unsafe conditions.
I've been calling for some of this stuff for 2 years. And some of them for months, and every time you call, they just tell you gotta wait till they get to it.
Schuler has 7 kids and has lived at Gadsden Green for 5 years. She showed us mold in her kitchen and walls barely patched up from rats coming inside.
My ex-husband does not feel that it is safe, and he's tired of our baby girl being sick. She's easily to get sick.
Everybody can fit in here because we don't use up here. We don't use the top floor except to shower.
Brittany McElvaney showed us her home. She calls the upstairs unlivable for her kids.
I've been here a year and 4 months, so we've only, kids had it maybe the first 4 months that we moved in here. After that, we've been downstairs since then.
People like Diamond Hayward used to live at Gadsden Green. She tells us it wasn't any better years ago.
Living with mold, living with rats, living with roaches, living with the floor falling in, living with the ceiling caving in, living with the tub looking like dirt on the ground. It's not right.
We reached out to the Charleston Housing Authority after the walkthrough to address the concerns residents showed us, but they couldn't be reached at the late hour. We also contacted the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, who claims they weren't invited to the event tonight. They say they learned about the walkthrough for the first time in today's news. Claire Weber, News 4.
Thank you, Claire. Well, Gadsden Green has become a major topic of conversation for Representatives Wendell Gilliard and Dion Tedder as they head into a runoff election tomorrow. The two will face off again for the Senate District 42 seat, and both say they want to help fix the current living conditions at Gadsden.